The silent power of a man who doesn't chase lies in his self-worth. He moves with calm confidence, sets boundaries, and focuses on growth. His presence attracts naturally, emotions balanced, energy protected. He doesn't beg for attention. He commands it quietly, leaving a lasting impression without trying. A man who understands his self-worth does not bend or break for the approval of others. He knows that his value is not measured by likes, attention, or compliments, nor is it defined by who stays or leaves in his life. He moves through the world with a quiet confidence because he has built a foundation of belief in himself that no one else can shake. When he walks into a room, he does not seek validation from anyone. He simply exists fully, grounded in the knowledge that he is enough. He does not wait for someone to notice him or give him permission to feel important. Because he has already claimed that importance from within, this inner certainty radiates in every step, every glance, every word he speaks. When a man prioritizes self-worth over validation, he frees himself from the exhausting cycle of seeking approval. He does not chase people, situations, or outcomes to feel worthy. He does not argue to be right, compete to be admired, or compromise his values to be accepted. Instead, he nurtures a life that aligns with his principles, knowing that respect and recognition are natural byproducts of authenticity. He understands that those who truly matter will see him for who he is, and those who don't are simply passing shadows in his journey. There is no desperation, no pleading, no need to perform, only the calm strength of someone who knows he is enough just as he is. This sense of self-worth allows him to set boundaries without guilt, to say no without fear, and to walk away without regret. He recognizes that his time, energy, and emotions are precious, and he will not give them to anyone who diminishes his value. He moves with intention, choosing relationships, experiences, and opportunities that honor him rather than diminish him. The man who refuses to seek external validation demonstrates that strength is quiet, not loud. It is unshakable, not frantic. It is rooted in self-respect, not dependence. By embracing his worth, he inspires others without trying. People are drawn to his energy because it is real, unforced, and unwavering. They feel his confidence not as arrogance, but as a reflection of what is possible. When someone stops asking for permission to exist fully, he becomes a silent teacher, showing that validation begins within. No applause is required, no approval is necessary. His life is a testament to the power of knowing your own value and refusing to surrender it for anyone else. Calm confidence is the quiet force that sets a man apart, the kind of strength that doesn't need to prove itself. It is not loud or boastful. It is steady, grounded, and unshakable. A man with calm confidence does not rush to fill silences or overcompensate with words or actions. He understands that his presence alone carries weight. When he speaks, it is with purpose. When he moves, it is with intention. There is no need for validation or approval because he trusts himself completely. He has faced challenges, overcome fears, and stood alone when necessary. And through every experience, he has learned that his value is inherent, not conditional. This kind of confidence is magnetic. People are drawn to it, not because it demands attention, but because it exudes certainty. A man with calm confidence does not chase people, situations, or outcomes. He does not beg to be noticed or plead to be understood. His energy is balanced, measured, and composed. Even in the face of uncertainty or opposition, he remains unshaken. His calmness is not passivity. It is a conscious choice to rise above chaos and emotional turbulence. This steadiness allows him to think clearly, act decisively, and maintain control over his life. Calm confidence comes from self-awareness. He knows his strengths and accepts his weaknesses. He does not pretend to be someone he is not, nor does he allow the judgment of others to dictate his behavior. He moves through life with authenticity, and that authenticity becomes a form of power. People recognize it, sometimes subconsciously, and are naturally drawn to him. They respect him, not because he demands respect, but because he has earned it through his integrity, composure, and self-assuredness. A man who embodies calm confidence also understands timing and patience. He does not rush into decisions or chase fleeting opportunities. He waits, observes, and acts when the moment aligns with his purpose. This patience is not indecision, it is strategy. It signals that he is not desperate, that he is in control of his own journey. When others are frantic or insecure, he remains the anchor, a steady presence that commands trust and admiration. His calm confidence also protects him from negativity. Criticism, gossip, or envy no longer have power over him. He listens, learns when necessary, but does not internalize the opinions of those who do not understand his path. He is focused on his growth, his goals, and his values, moving forward without being distracted by the noise around him. In his silence, in his stillness, he communicates strength more powerfully than words ever could. Calm confidence is magnetic because it is authentic, unshakable, and self-contained. It does not need validation because it is rooted in deep self-belief. The man who carries this quiet power walks through life like a force of nature, steady, composed, and impossible to ignore. A man who understands the power of selective energy knows that not all battles are worth fighting and not every person is worth his time. He is aware that his energy is finite, precious, and extremely powerful. It is not to be wasted on chasing attention, proving himself, or trying to control outcomes that are beyond his reach. Instead, he invests it where it truly matters, on himself, his growth, his vision, and the people and opportunities that align with his values. He has learned that indiscriminate giving, whether of time, emotions, or effort, leads to exhaustion, disappointment, and depletion, while intentional focus fuels strength, clarity, and fulfillment. Selective energy is about conscious choice. It is about understanding that not every argument deserves his voice, not every drama deserves his presence, and not every person deserves access to his life. He does not engage out of obligation or fear of judgment. He engages out of intention. He recognizes the difference between meaningful connection and draining attachment, between purposeful action and wasted effort. By being deliberate with where he places his attention, he creates space for the things that truly matter. He surrounds himself with people who elevate him, challenges that push him forward, and experiences that align with his purpose. Everything else is observed, acknowledged, but not absorbed. This approach does not make him cold or detached. It makes him wise. It makes him magnetic because people sense the discernment in his actions. He is not desperate for approval or validation because he does not give his energy to those who do not deserve it. His presence is rare and valued, not because he demands attention, but because he chooses carefully where to direct it. This selectiveness is an unspoken declaration of self-respect. It communicates that he is aware of his worth and refuses to diminish it by overextending himself. Selective energy also manifests in his work, goals, and daily life. He does not scatter himself in endless pursuits that lead nowhere. He focuses on growth, mastery, and progress in areas that serve his long-term vision. He is not distracted by trivial matters or shallow opinions. Every thought, every effort, and every action is aligned with a greater purpose. This focus amplifies his impact, making him someone who achieves more with less effort, someone who commands respect without demanding it. Furthermore, selective energy is liberating. By refusing to chase or overextend, he avoids unnecessary emotional turmoil, stress, and regret. He does not carry the weight of others' expectations or drama. He is free to move through life with clarity, confidence, and joy, guided by his own principles rather than the noise of the world. In this freedom, he discovers his true power, the ability to create, to lead, to attract, and to live authentically. In essence, a man who practices selective energy becomes a force of precision and purpose. Every connection, every action, and every choice is intentional. He does not expend himself on what does not serve him, yet he is present and powerful in everything that does. This discipline transforms him into someone who is not only respected and admired, but deeply magnetic, because his energy is rare, focused, and undeniably his own. Emotional mastery is the invisible strength that separates a man who chases from a man who stands firm. It is the ability to remain grounded, calm, and composed, even when the world around him is chaotic. A man who has mastered his emotions does not allow anger, fear, or insecurity to dictate his actions. He understands that emotions are powerful tools, but when uncontrolled, they become chains that bind him to situations and people who do not deserve his energy. By mastering his inner world, he creates freedom to act deliberately, to respond thoughtfully, and to live on his own terms. This mastery begins with awareness. He recognizes his triggers, his impulses, and his vulnerabilities. He does not suppress them, nor does he let them control him. Instead, he acknowledges them, understands their source, and chooses how to respond. This self-awareness creates an unshakable calm. He is not reactive. He is responsive. He does not lash out in anger, plead in desperation, or crumble under rejection. He observes, processes, and acts with intention. In this space between stimulus and response, he finds power. This pause, this controlled moment, allows him to maintain dignity, command respect, and preserve his energy for what truly matters. A man with emotional mastery also understands the value of detachment. He does not tie his happiness to the opinions or actions of others. He does not rely on approval, attention, or affection to feel complete. When faced with disappointment, betrayal, or loss, he experiences the emotions fully, but does not allow them to define him. He grieves, he reflects, and then he moves forward, stronger and more centered. This ability to remain composed in the face of emotional turbulence makes him magnetic. People are drawn to his steadiness because it is rare in a world that often rewards impulsivity and drama. Emotional mastery also allows him to create meaningful connections. When he interacts with others, he does so from a place of clarity and balance. He listens without judgment, speaks without aggression, and engages without neediness. His presence is calm yet powerful, reassuring yet compelling. He does not chase relationships because he knows that those built on desperation or dependency are fragile. Instead, he attracts connections that are authentic, reciprocal, and enriching. His emotional stability becomes a foundation upon which trust and respect are naturally built. Emotional mastery is about choice. It is the deliberate decision to rise above fear, ego, and insecurity. It is the understanding that no one has the power to disturb his peace without his consent. By mastering his emotions, he achieves true independence, the freedom to live fully, act confidently, and walk away from anything or anyone that does not honor his worth. This is the silent power of a man who does not chase. He is untouchable, unshakable, and undeniably magnetic because he governs the one realm that no one else can control, his own mind and heart. Attraction through absence is a subtle yet profound force, one that the man who does not chase understands instinctively. He knows that his presence, while valuable, becomes even more magnetic when it is not constant, when it is not taken for granted, and when it is not demanded. He does not cling, he does not hover, and he does not overextend himself in a desperate attempt to be seen or loved. Instead, he moves with grace, allowing space between himself and others, creating an unspoken tension that draws people in rather than pushes them away. The absence is not emptiness. It is a presence felt even when he is not physically there. This principle works because humans naturally gravitate toward what is rare and valuable. When someone is constantly available, their energy, attention, and time become expected. They lose their weight, their mystery, and their allure. But a man who understands attraction through absence becomes someone whose presence is cherished, whose attention is earned, and whose energy is respected. People begin to notice the space he leaves behind, the calm he brings, and the sense of balance that comes with knowing he does not demand anything from anyone. His silence speaks volumes, his distance commands attention, and his restraint communicates power. Attraction through absence is also rooted in self-respect. The man who does not chase understands that his time and energy are precious. He does not fill every void, answer every call, or respond to every expectation. He prioritizes his growth, his purpose, and his goals, knowing that by doing so, he elevates his worth. By being selective with his presence, he demonstrates that he will not settle for attention that is casual, fleeting, or undeserved. This is not manipulation, it is clarity. It is a reflection of someone who knows that genuine connections are built on mutual effort and appreciation, not on neediness or constant pursuit. Moreover, absence cultivates anticipation and curiosity. People begin to notice the subtle qualities that may have gone overlooked when he was always around. His humor, his wisdom, his calm confidence, his energy all become more visible when space is created. They reflect, they wonder, and they are drawn toward him naturally, not because he has chased them, but because his absence has made them realize his presence matters. This is the power of restraint, the silent teaching that value is not begged for, it is recognized. Attraction through absence is the art of holding oneself with dignity and poise. It is understanding that chasing diminishes power while measured distance amplifies it. The man who practices this does not rely on external validation to feel complete. He allows others to come to him because they are genuinely drawn to who he is. His energy is scarce, deliberate, and magnetic. In a world of constant noise and demand, his absence becomes his signature, his allure, and his silent, undeniable power. Boundaries are the quiet armor of a man who does not chase, the invisible line that protects his energy, his time, and his self-respect. They are not walls built from fear or distrust. They are statements of clarity, strength, and purpose. A man who understands the power of boundaries knows that saying no is not rejection. It is affirmation of his value. By defining what he will accept and what he will not, he communicates his worth without a single word. He does not apologize for protecting himself, nor does he compromise his standards to please others. His boundaries are an unshakable declaration that he will not be diminished, drained, or devalued. Strength in boundaries comes from self-awareness. He understands his priorities, his goals, and his emotional capacity. He recognizes the difference between people who uplift him and those who drain him, between opportunities that propel him forward and distractions that pull him back. With this awareness, he chooses carefully where to invest his energy. He does not bend to accommodate unreasonable demands or manipulate situations to gain approval. Instead, he stands firm, calmly asserting his limits, knowing that respect is earned through clarity and consistency, not through compromise or self-sacrifice. Boundaries also serve as a measure of integrity. A man who maintains them communicates a silent message. He values himself and expects the same from others. He does not chase attention or affection because he has set the standard for how he will be treated. Those who truly care for him respect his space, his choices, and his needs. Those who do not reveal themselves, and he moves forward without regret. In this way, boundaries filter out negativity and invite only what aligns with his life, creating an environment where his energy is protected and his potential can flourish. Having boundaries is not about isolation. It is about intentional connection. When he chooses to engage, it is deliberate, meaningful, and powerful. People feel the weight of his presence because they know he is selective, that his attention is valuable and not freely given. This selectivity creates a magnetic effect. People are drawn to him not because he chases, but because he has chosen himself first. There is a quiet dignity in this approach, a sense of mastery over one's life and choices that commands respect naturally. Boundaries also cultivate inner peace. By refusing to tolerate disrespect, chaos, or unnecessary drama, he safeguards his mental and emotional well-being. He does not expend energy on arguments that lead nowhere, relationships that diminish him, or situations that compromise his integrity. Instead, he focuses on what elevates him, nurtures him, and strengthens his sense of purpose. In this space, he becomes more confident, more grounded, and more magnetic. Boundaries are not limitations, they are power. They are the unspoken force that communicates self-respect, strength, and clarity. A man who sets them does not chase because he has already chosen himself. And in doing so, he becomes someone others cannot ignore. His energy, his time, and his presence are intentional, rare, and undeniably magnetic. A man who does not chase understands that his most valuable investment is in himself. He prioritizes growth over validation, knowledge over attention, and purpose over fleeting approval. While others waste their energy seeking recognition or proving themselves to those who may never appreciate it, he channels his focus inward, honing his skills, strengthening his mind, and elevating his life. Growth is his compass, guiding every decision, every action, and every relationship. It is the foundation on which his power, confidence, and presence are built. Focusing on growth requires discipline. It demands that he resist the temptation to be distracted by drama, gossip, or the expectations of others. He knows that chasing approval or clinging to the fleeting attention of people who do not truly value him only slows his progress. Instead, he dedicates himself to the pursuit of mastery, of his craft, his mind, and his life. He reads, learns, experiments, and reflects. Every setback becomes a lesson, every failure a stepping stone, and every challenge an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Growth is not a goal, it is a lifestyle, a relentless commitment to becoming the best version of himself, regardless of who notices or who applauds. By focusing on growth, he becomes self-sufficient. He does not rely on others to define his worth or shape his identity. He knows that external validation is temporary, fleeting, and often unreliable, while the skills, knowledge, and resilience he builds through personal growth remain permanent. This self-sufficiency frees him from neediness, desperation, and the urge to chase. He moves through life with clarity and purpose, anchored in the knowledge that his life is a reflection of his efforts, not of someone else's approval. Growth also shapes his relationships. By prioritizing his evolution, he attracts people who are aligned with his values and vision. He does not settle for connections that drain him or diminish his progress. Instead, he surrounds himself with those who challenge him, inspire him, and elevate him. He understands that meaningful relationships are reciprocal, and by focusing on growth, he becomes a person worth reciprocating with, a man whose presence adds value without demanding it. Moreover, focusing on growth cultivates patience and long-term vision. He is not swayed by instant gratification or the need for immediate recognition. He knows that meaningful progress takes time, consistency, and persistence. While others chase fleeting pleasures or validation, he invests in the slow, steady accumulation of skills, wisdom, and experiences that compound over time. This long-term focus creates an aura of quiet power, a man who moves deliberately, acts purposefully, and achieves results without frantic effort. A man who focuses on growth is unstoppable. He does not chase because he is already moving forward, evolving, and creating a life that reflects his highest potential. His presence is magnetic, not because he demands attention, but because he embodies progress, purpose, and unshakable self-belief. He is a living testament to the power of investing in oneself, showing that the greatest attraction comes not from pursuit, but from constant, intentional evolution. Magnetism without effort is the quiet power of a man who does not chase, the kind of presence that draws people in naturally, effortlessly, and undeniably. It is not loud, flashy, or demanding. It is subtle, steady, and unforced. A man who possesses this magnetism does not need to prove himself, beg for attention, or perform to be noticed. His energy, confidence, and authenticity create an aura that others cannot ignore. People are drawn to him not because he chases them, but because he is complete in himself, and that completeness radiates in every interaction, every gesture, and every word he speaks. This kind of magnetism comes from self-containment. He does not rely on others to validate his worth or define his value. He is whole, centered, and secure in who he is. There is no desperation, no neediness, no frantic energy that pushes people away. Instead, he exudes calm, quiet assurance. His energy is rare and intentional, like a light that shines steadily without flicker. People are drawn to him because they sense that he is not consumed by insecurity, fear, or the need to control. His confidence is unshakable, and that alone makes him magnetic. Magnetism without effort also arises from authenticity. He does not pretend to be someone he is not, nor does he wear a mask to fit in or impress. He moves through the world as his true self, unapologetically and without compromise. This authenticity creates trust, respect, and admiration naturally. People feel it, even if they cannot articulate it. They are drawn to the realness he embodies, the integrity he carries, and the freedom he lives with. There is a deep power in being fully oneself, and it attracts like nothing else can. Another aspect of this effortless magnetism is the mastery of presence. He does not dominate conversations, seek attention, or over-explain. He listens, observes, and responds thoughtfully. He moves with intention and speaks with purpose. His presence is felt even in silence, and his actions speak louder than words ever could. People are drawn to him not because he demands it, but because his energy naturally fills the space around him. This is the essence of effortless influence. He attracts without trying because he does not chase, he does not plead, and he does not need to. Magnetism without effort is amplified by patience and restraint. He does not rush to be liked, loved, or admired. He does not overextend himself or give his attention to those who do not appreciate it. He understands that his energy is precious and that by holding it with dignity and purpose, he becomes rare, valuable, and magnetic. People notice him because he moves through life on his own terms, guided by self-respect, confidence, and clarity. The man who embodies magnetism without effort demonstrates that true power is quiet, self-contained, and authentic. He does not chase because he already possesses the presence, energy, and integrity that attract others naturally. His silent allure is undeniable, leaving a lasting impression that no one can ignore, no effort can imitate, and no chase can manufacture. The man who does not chase is not defined by others' attention, approval, or recognition. His power is silent, unwavering, and undeniable. It comes from knowing his worth, mastering his emotions, and protecting his energy. He focuses on growth, sets clear boundaries, and moves with calm confidence. He understands that absence, restraint, and authenticity are not weaknesses. They are forces that amplify his presence and magnetism. He does not seek to be validated because he has already claimed his value from within. In a world that constantly demands, chases, and pleads, he stands apart, unshakable and self-contained. People are drawn to him naturally, not because he tries, but because he embodies the rare and powerful combination of self-respect, purpose, and intentionality. This is the silent strength that leaves a lasting impression, a power that cannot be forced, bought, or borrowed. He is magnetic because he is complete, confident because he is grounded, and unstoppable because he moves through life on his own terms. And in his quiet mastery, he teaches the most profound lesson that true power is not in the chase. It is in the choice to honor oneself first, always.